Hey everybody, welcome to day 16. Body weight remained the same at 198.8 today. We got the benchin today for the first time in the training cycle, so you guys will see how that goes later. I had one of my friends I want to tell a story about last night who stopped by, and for my birthday today, he said he had been watching the videos and he was like supportive of it. And yeah, I haven't seen him in like 2 years. But anyway, I met this guy originally, him and his two brothers. And like when I was in ninth grade, we were playing basketball at the park. And they show up and we're like getting into it with them on like a 3-on-3 game. And it just so turns out that they have three brothers with the middle, their names starting with J. And then me and my two brothers, all of our names start with S. And yeah, we start talking after the game, and they're like, "Oh, where do you study?" I'm like, "What do you mean study?" And we're having like a hard time, language barrier, but we come to find out it was their third day in America, and it's just funny. 25 years later, we're still good friends, even if we don't see each other. So I'm really proud of you. Much love to you. And so he stopped by, and he's just like, "Hey, I saw your videos, and knowing you, I know you probably had this phone propped up on a paint can." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, it was a rusty chair, and yeah, holding and like a V grip handle." And so he had bought me a tripod and a wireless mic. I still have to figure out how to use and where to incorporate that, but I definitely will. I appreciate that. Now I don't have to worry about everything falling over in the wind. Very thoughtful. So today, standing knee raises, best was 50. Ended up getting 52 today, and you could see they're a lot higher. The rest pauses are shorter. Yeah, this is an all-time PR there. Going over to the single leg iso bridge, back down to 50 pounds. I knew it was a good idea to cycle up to my heaviest weight because sure enough, these are feeling lighter. My previous was 52. Ended up getting 57 count today on these. Again, my best is like 90 on these. We still got a ways to go, but that's one of the exercises that improves every time you do it. And then after that, we went to the Pendulum Sissy squats again. Now, it's been like 4 or 5 days since I went after this one. My previous best recently was 13, and my best all time was 15. So I thought, you know what, today's the day we could just go to 14, or let's try to get to 16 if it's there. You'll see they're super tough at the end, but I'll still quote from Louis Simmons when it comes to talking about breaking your personal records. He says tying a record is like kissing your sister. It's just something you don't do. So, I mean, I don't have a sister anyway. I wouldn't do that. But anyway, I'm just saying, when we got that deep into the set, I was like, I just got to beat this already. And yeah, so I end up hitting the 16. As far as the hip goes, today was the first day where, like, waking up in the morning and getting on the scale, I didn't really feel like my hamstring and adductors and everything tight and pulling on me, and it was easier to go into hip flexion to bend over to pick up the scale. So that's definitely good news. There was like a little bit of inflammation and nerve pain, but it's all manageable now. The right shoulder is in a bad place, so I was definitely very nervous about doing the bench today. So for chin-ups, I didn't even want to try. I went back to the one-arm dumbbell rows. I had done 95 for 18 a few days ago, and so I do the right side first because I have no idea how it's going to feel. And you guys that do these exercises, tell me if I just stopped when I felt like I wasn't pulling it high enough, but looking back on video, it looks really good. So I did 115 for 16. The dumbbells are like maxed out here. I could change the 5s for 10s and get 10 more pounds out of this, but the clips that I have on there are only like halfway on, and if they unscrew even just a little bit, it's gonna fall off. So to go up heavier, I gotta throw big 25s on, and then that ends up hitting me. But yeah, I feel like really awkward on these. Like I said, I've only done a few sets in years, like in decades. I've only done a few sets of these, and that was recently, so I'm still getting a hang for it. And like I said, if you guys want to have any other suggestions, like maybe put both my feet down on the ground. I've seen some people do it like that, or I don't know, pull closer to the hip, closer to the shoulder, whatever it is. But I was happy that happened. So my boy ends up coming over and doing the bench session with me. Now he's been in better shape. He hasn't been working out or anything like that. He just came by to hang out and get the bench session in. He does like chin ups and bicep curls and things like that too, dips like on his own when he has time, but he hasn't had time or energy to work out. So yeah, the shoulder was just feeling awful on the bench. When I tried to make a comeback a month ago, and I had put 4 weeks of training in, maybe after 2 weeks, about the same place I'm at now, I tried to incorporate the bench, and I got 185 for 15, and it was like the hardest set that you've ever seen. I'll get back to that in a minute. This is his 135. I said his best ever is 11. Falls short of that, obviously, but he wasn't prepared for it. He just came to put up whatever he could put up. He got 3 good ones on his own, and then we get a couple more where I'm touching it, but I barely like maybe 2 pounds, 3 pounds of force on here, so that was a good set. So yeah, my 185, here I go. I'm like almost 5 pounds lighter than when I did this a month ago at that 2-week mark as well. So I would expect 14 reps would be about the same, maybe a little bit less than 14 reps. So yeah, I'm like really cautious going down and on the pause, and then on the way up, it's like there's so much inflammation. It's like I'm not pushing that right shoulder in a straight line. It's going all around. But I do the best that I can. I'll let the set finish playing out here, and then I'll talk about it a little bit more. So there we have it. I hit 13. I couldn't quite get to 14, but that's okay. Like I said, especially for how the shoulder was feeling, it's at worst like a half rep where I was a month ago. So if I can bench more frequently, obviously that will come up. Moving on from there, and at the end, after I talk about this step up, I'm going to talk a little bit more about my friend who came over. But this is, last I did these, I did them with 2 chains, which is about 42, 43 pounds. And I did a set of 40. So this is the first day I went to the safety squat bar, which weighs 63 pounds, but we're just going to talk numbers as if it weighs 45 pounds. So I put 5s on each side, which would make it 55. I end up hitting 26. So it's the same. This was like one of the last workouts I did last month before I got re-injured. And it was definitely nice feeling my hip being so much more free going up in this movement and not being restricted by that. So a month ago, I did this 55 for 24, weighing the exact same as today. Today, we push it to 26. And when I get to the end, you could see there's still a little bit in the tank. Even when I was warming up on these, the inside of my quad, the VMO, was just like spasming from those sissy squats earlier. Those sissy squats were super hard. But by the time I got to the end of this, like my hip, the glute, the hamstring, the lower back, everything felt like not bad at all. I was just feeling a little bit of pump in the quad, but when I got to 26, I'm like, I could have kept going, but let's play it safe and see like what the reaction is on my hip, because it's the heaviest that I've gone on these, so I didn't want to go crazy, but it left me feeling optimistic that I can push it. And basically this performance, I'm about 65 pounds away from my best, so I would have need to do this set today with 65 more pounds. Obviously, I could have done it with a little bit more weight today, but yeah, on some of my other lifts, I was like 120 pounds away, 130 pounds away, so we're climbing back up there. But yeah, so my friend that came and benched with me, I'm gonna have a clip of him at the end, driving away. But like I said, I don't know many people that are paralyzed that can drive with hand controls. You know, like a lot of people would just shut down, and that's the end of their life, you know. And he's overcame. He didn't even have a high school diploma. He graduated high school. He got a college degree. He was able to have a baby and have a family and everything, and drive a car, get a job. So proud of him. Thanks everybody for listening. I'll see you guys tomorrow.